House of the Flying Daggers is a wuxia romance film by Zhang Yimou. The story is set in AD 859 China during the later part of the Tang Dynasty, where rebel forces are forming against the so-called corrupt government. One of the underground movements is called the Flying Daggers. The story begins with two police officers, Jin and Leo, who are looking to try to uncover and destroy the Flying Daggers operations. There is a rumor that a blind girl called Mei, working at the Peony Pavilion Hostess Hall, is the daughter of the former leader of the Flying Daggers, and Jin seeks to investigate in the hope that it could lead to finding and destroying their movement for the government. After Jin breaks Mei out of jail since she was arrested for trying to assassinate Leo, Mei and Jin both embark on a colourful journey across the land to get to the headquarters of the Flying Daggers. On this journey, Mei and Jin together fight against the many government soldiers on their way and also develop feelings and romantically fall for each other. As the story progresses, we learn more of the characters and their true intentions, including their personal links to the Flying Daggers and true intentions such as Leo's feelings for Mei and Mei's hidden character. It ends with Jin and Leo fighting each other to the death and Mei caught in the middle of the two of them. In discussing and analysing House of the Flying Daggers, we get to see into the world of a young woman, Mei, who initially and on face value is defined by being something of a paid companion, a blind paid companion who may or may not be the daughter of the former leader of the Flying Daggers. With whatever feelings or connotations an audience member may have about how they view a paid companion, the film goes on to explore, challenge, and destroy a lot of ideas or misconceptions that some of the characters in the story or some in the audience may feel towards her. For example, with a paid companion such as Mei, who begins the story by being one of the many who are working in the Peony Pavilion Hall, we are presented with the idea that Mei's character is generally submissive in this context, with her abiding by the rules when she is first called in to speak to Jin, even though he is a bit drunk. This is reflective also in her attitude shortly after towards Leo and his demands for her to dance for him. However, in one moment she fights Jin off when he tries to force himself on her, and she also attempts to kill Leo halfway through her dance performance. Immediately, with any feeling that Mei may be young and inexperienced as she is described as at the hostess hall, this idea is turned around and challenged. Also, there's the idea that as a paid companion, Mei may or not be a victim, which in reflecting on a paid companion may or may not be the case depending on the situation. In this film, with the idea of the corrupt government who take advantage of their citizens, we start to go down this path, only to find out that Mei is only pretending to be blind and is often fooling police officer Jane in the story. With the idea of the victim, it may or may not bring out the type of character who thought of someone who would think it would be easy or more accessible to take advantage of them. Not only is Mei not shown as a victim in this sense, but she's constantly winning with her deception, talents, various martial arts skills, and with her flying daggers too. Although Mei is living under the conditions and plans of the Flying Daggers, she can't help but fall in love with Jin, developing feelings for him and acting on them. This also goes against the idea that she doesn't have any control over her life. Although Jin may appear more free-spirited than her, she acts on a lot of her impulses too. Contrary to that, when she is interested in Leo when he makes his advance on her, she pushes him away. As Jin mentions, he is like the wind and she often seems to have much in common with him too. While Leo can often be shown as being more controlling and set in his ways, Leo's plans and feelings don't often match with hers, although she reveals that she's given it some thought. With the constant changes in the story and characters and their true feelings and true lives being revealed, as an audience member we are constantly finding out that what we thought we believed in isn't necessarily the case. And with Mei and the police officer's characters throughout the film, we are often seeing this as well. If there is a feeling of looking at Mei in this case as someone who is somewhat of a victim, there may be some feeling to help this person out or label or blame the corrupt government for the situation she's been put in or has found herself in. However, there are various dynamics to each of the characters that whatever label in this instance we may feel to put on her or them and have toward them is often challenged. Take for example Leo, who is a disguised police officer for the Flying Daggers, who has put in years of work for the organization and fallen in love with Mei. The government appears corrupt, but in this instance of this character, we see someone who seems to have a care for the average citizen, though has developed some sense of entitlement to Mei in this process. In the example of Jane, we get to know a police officer who appears to just enjoy the everyday running of his job, even if it means to go undercover for the cause. Though similar to Mei, it appears like they are taking advantage of each other with their secret identities, they often feel or express that they could possibly run away with each other and just be together somewhere peacefully. Even when they meet and speak to Nia, the leader at the Flying Daggers headquarters, she seems to reveal a lot of the story to Jean and the audience by asking that if he had known what the truth of the matter really was, do you think you would have still come here with her? This can indicate that as an audience member having feelings for May and her situation might change by understanding she's just another worker at the hostess hall, rather than the daughter of the old leader. That her status or place in society is going to determine how we may or may not treat her, or what actions we may take with her given the circumstances, such as this journey. The film shows that we may think about someone or something in life isn't always true. That whether through life's various trials and tests can we stay true to the part. That often there can be more to the story if we just are prepared to go along for the journey with whatever turns there may be. Thanks for watching.